Hello everyone, it's Andrea and welcome to this edition of Talks in the Car. All of us are in the process of having our stories written. Ideally, if we are believers and we are trusting in God and we are trying to follow after God, God is the author of our stories. He is who we follow. He is who we trust. He is who we depend on. So he is the one who is orchestrating our lives. He is writing our stories. But with that being said, oftentimes we allow people to be contributing authors. We allow people to write our stories, to add to our stories, to add various narratives to our story. So the question that I have for you today is, who are you allowing to add to your story? Who do you allow to write chapters and pages? Who have you given a pen to? Who is able to write narratives in your story? Who is able to illustrate within your story? We have to be very mindful and very careful of who we allow to add to our lives, who we allow to add to our stories. Everybody is not a qualified author. Everybody does not have the ability to draw and thus should not be illustrators in our story. We have to be careful of what people are depositing into us that will influence us and influence our journey, influence our story. And so if somebody is not being positive, if someone is not giving wisdom, if someone is not depositing into you in the correct way, if someone is not appreciating you, if someone is not loving you the way you deserve, they do not have the right to add to your story. And the one thing about that is, once something is etched into your life, once something is spoken, once something is deposited, it is not as easy to get rid of those things. And it takes work and it takes time, and oftentimes it takes a lot of pain and a lot of suffering in order to erase the things that have been written about us. So I encourage you on today, be mindful of who you allow to be a part of your narrative, who you allow to write your story, who you allow to contribute to your story. Make sure that you allow people who are positive. You allow people who are full of wisdom. You allow people who are encouraging to you. You allow people who will love on you and who will support you to be part of your story. And then on the flip side of that, make sure that you are a good and a positive contributing author to other people's stories. Make sure that you're encouraging. Make sure that you're giving. Make sure that you're supporting. Make sure that the things that you are saying are full of wisdom and full of biblical encouragement. Make sure that what you deposit, what you write in someone's story, what you give and what you contribute to the pages of other people's lives are the same type of things that you want people to write and to etch into your story. Our stories are so important. Our testimonies are so important, because I said this once again last week, that because our story, our testimony, our journey is not just about us, it's about others. When people read, when people hear, when people listen to our stories, they should be encouraged. They should be given hope. They should be excited to know that even if they're in the middle of something, just the knowledge that we have gone through it, just the knowledge that we have depended on God and God has taken us through and God has brought us through and God has carried us through. That part of our story should be an encouragement to others. And so it's not just about us. It's not just about us having this romantic story, this beautiful story, and that's wonderful. But our stories are to be a blessing to other people. And if that's to happen, we have to make sure that those contributing authors, those contributing illustrators of our story align with the main author, align with what God is saying about us. So if somebody is writing something about you, or if you are writing something about someone else that does not align with what God is saying, then they don't need to be writing your story and you don't need to be writing in theirs. Everything should align with what God is saying. If God is saying that you're the head and not the tail, those are what those people should be saying. If God is saying that I love you, you are precious to me, those contributing authors need to be saying the same. So on today, focus on who is writing your story, who is contributing to your story, and make sure that those people align with what God is saying. And on the flip side of that, as you think about the people who you have influence over, the people who look up to you, the people who are around you, the people who you share with, make sure that what you are depositing into other people's story also align with what God is saying to them. You have a fabulous day, and we'll see you next time on Talks in the Car.